Here's the preform from the other day that I didn't finish on video, but I did it well with the little hammerstones. Instead of my other videos where I'm using kind of larger hammerstones, let's show you guys how to finish up something really quick and see if I'm in frame. This is a really good camera angle, but it's sort of a pain in the butt. I think that'll be in there. So this is one of my anvil stones. You can see how it's worn around the edge. I use this as a little hammerstone, and I use this as an abrader edge turner, and this is a light little sandstone, really light soft hammerstone. So, and this is a lightly heated piece of Burlington. So let's try to do a lot of the work just with this little one and kind of show you what you can do with some small hammerstones. Really need to just turn this a little bit. Sometimes you do need a little bit more elbow grease with a bigger abrader. It's hard to do all the abrading with something soft like this, so we'll just take some little flakes. If you're not used to a hammerstone, it's good just to do some little edge turning at first to get used to it. Now see, I'm going to scrunch a little bevel on this and just do a small flake coming back. Turn, so that'll be flakes going this way. If you want to abo nap and you're worried about not having enough strength, then just use smaller rocks and smaller hammerstones. And then as you learn your edges, you can apply that towards larger projects. But if you want to, learn it, it's the best way to go. Now, these little bumps I can strike, even with this little bitty hammerstone, I mean, you can do some thinning, even though it's light and small. You just kind of have to catch your edges, right? Since I'm not going to regrind, I'll sort of pinch. And I meant to hit there, but it's alright. Nope, regrind. Even and trim and smooth. The best line in this song is that living with you is putting me phooey all the time. That's a good one. Now, isolated is more of an antler platform. If I were to grind that, I could get out the antler and thin that. But with the hammerstone, you better take it in a little bit. And then you don't want to do scope or big thin. You want to be down more and just do blender. Like that. You just put me away. See now how nice that's turned? And then maybe this spot just give a little strength. No. I've made bird point preforms with the hammerstones, And you know what? I've been telling people this for years, and I've done it a little bit. Get you a dart shaft or an arrow shaft, drill a hole in it, get a little pebble with some Cortex on it, jam it in there, and maybe pitch it if you need to, and use it as a little punch. You want to have a braided turned edges like this, and you'll want to be more on a cushiony. Make it wire yourself up some leather or a sock or something and wrap it in leather and set it on there, and then punch it. And you can punch thin with stone awesome. And there's signatures on all kinds of small points where that's what I think they're doing. And I haven't messed with that much, but I've been hoping somebody is going to experiment with that for a long time, and I guess I'm just going to have to do it. Okay, now the mistake people make now is chopping without thinking and doing just braiding like this. Just do some careful little trimming. You know, keep your angle straight and look and see what you're doing. And take your time with it. And if you have to hit a teeny little delta, just take your time with it and enjoy doing that little trimming, cleaning. You'll keep everything organized, and it'll just help you stay ahead of the game. There's all kinds of ways to just grind and, you know, cheat and hit stuff early, but once you get your preforms more refined, you want to make sure that everything is tidy. See, now here I should have done a more careful job there. So maybe little scrunch. The back grinding puts just a small little turned edge on there. Now a little support, over strike. Cleaned it up pretty well. Now that we'll just have to scrunch turn. And flip. So we'll do this set, and then Mama might have. Oh, I did. I'm filming myself do a hammerstone preform. They might have just seen your wet toes take out the trash. So nice. Okay. Now, there's all kinds of like side notch points that are really neat that I think they're going pretty far with the small hammerstones. That's probably what this will be. You can even get narrower faces than this and do some really, really fine percussion. At some point, though, when you're putting sharp edges on stuff, hammerstones don't do it because you're thickening and you're grinding. So the little stone punch or the pressure to finish, unless you're just having a wizard day with the hammerstone. But it's fun to sit down, and you run into time deficits when you get to finishing at that level. Oops, I knew I should have not hit that. There. Now we'll start at the tip, and we'll come back and we'll have cleaned our problem area. Now you can do that with a pressure flake, but it's fun when you have confidence the hammerstone just to give it a little, see? you will do. You need to really abrade these hammerstone platforms just a little bit more than you would with the antler, and be a little bit more down than you are in. I missed that a little bit. See, that was my platform. And unlike antler, now that's isolated, so I can't hit that with a hammerstone. I have to trim that down. And then just sort of move over. The background. Background to me. Boy, holding my arm this way is weird. My whole shoulder feels stressed and weird trying to reach around this selfie stick. So let's see if I'm in frame. That gives you an idea. It's fairly... I mean, I could get to finish this really nice with this little hammerstone, but I almost need a smaller one. At some point, you can notch with stone even. Narrow stone punch or anything, but I'd say that 90% of the small archaic darts and knives weren't using soft hammer techniques. They were using a lot of early hammerstone techniques, and maybe, like I said before, the little pebble punches be something worth trying out. You know, the pebbles are everywhere, so if you have gravels that are a little bit softer on the end, some little churty cobbles with some cortex on it, give it a try. All right.